What we're going to be talking about today is Screencastify. It is a Chrome extension that lives in your Chrome browser up here to the top. With the Chrome extension, you can provide your students with asynchronous teaching, meaning you don't have to teach over Google Meet. You can use Screencastify to teach small lessons. Lessons that might be 2 to 3 minutes long, because no child needs to hear a 10-minute lesson. So try to take Screencastify, teach a little bit, 3 to 5 minutes at most, and then that way they can watch it as much as they want to. You can take all of these videos that you create with Screencastify and you can embed those into your LMS. So if you're using Canvas, if you're using Google Classroom, if you're using Seesaw, you can take any of these videos because they live in your Google Drive, and you can insert them into your LMS, or if you wanted to, you can insert them into a Google Slidedeck or whatever it is that however you want to display it for your kids. And the best part is all of the videos save straight to Google Drive, so it makes sharing super easy. So we have 3 tools with Screencastify. You can record on the browser tab, you can record using your desktop, or you can record with the webcam. And I'm going to start with webcam because webcam is the easiest to use. It's basically exactly what it says. It'll show just a picture or a video of you teaching or talking to your students. This is great if you want to use that for like a morning meeting or a daily mashup where you're talking to your students. So I'm going to go out to Google Classroom because I am a student in this virtual demo class. And I'm going to click on the classwork page. And notice here, my teacher, she's put, this is Jen, she's put a morning message for me here. So I can click on that morning message and I can actually view this as a material. This is my message that I can watch. So she recorded herself using the webcam only in Screencastify, and if I were to play that, you would just hear her talking to you and whatever it is that you want to say to your students that day. So she inserted it into her Google Classroom. If you make this an assignment, then kids can send you a private message in Google Classroom to be able to talk to you about your morning message or whatever it is that you've decided to record. So again, that is with Screencastify extension, and I can't show you the webcam only because I'm presenting with you over Google Meet, but that is webcam only. You can also use this for other things. So do I have questions about this very first part of Screencastify?
Hi guys, I just want to remind you, if you do have a question, kindly post it in the chat and then we can call on you. Annette, can you just tell the difference between posting that message as a material and posting it as an assignment, what the difference is?
Posting it as a material, it's going to come up and it's going to give you this class comments. That's actually what it's posted as right now, is a material. I can only make a comment as a student because you're seeing me as the student right now. I can only make a class comment. But if I go back to my class and I go to my classwork page, I'm going to go find an assignment. Right here is my assignment. And notice over here to the side, I've made this, Jen made this an assignment for me to read. I have this private comments window. So I can send a private comment to my teacher asking her a question. What does this mean? And then she will get that comment and she would be able to comment back to me. So we can have a question and answer through private comment on the assignment. Do I have any other questions?
Yes, Annette. So Barbara Smith, thanks so much. She asked if you can demonstrate how to add the video into Google Classroom after it's been recorded in Screencastify. If you could just show her how to put that into her Google Classroom.
All right, so let me switch classrooms. I'm going to go to just a test class. Now, I'm the teacher in this class, So I'm going to go to classwork, and I'm going to go to create, and I'm going to create an assignment. That way my kids can send me that private message. So I'm going to put morning meeting, and down here at the bottom, I'm going to click my add button, and I'm going to add from Google Drive because this is a video in my Google Drive. And I'm just going to click, I was creating some videos earlier. This one says trimming and renaming. So I'm going to click on that one. I'm going to add it right in to my Google Classroom, and it has attached it. I can click here and I can say, watch this video for my instructions. And then when I'm ready, I can click assign. So that is how you would attach the video inside of Google Classroom. Any other questions?
Sorry, Annette. Yes, there was another question that was somebody, I'm sorry, William from West Cary. Thanks so much. He would like to see how to trim off the beginning and the end of a video. I think you're going to get to that later when you do your demo. Is that correct?
Yes, I'm going to get to that in just a second. I'll make sure I show that. Any other questions?
One other, yes, there was one other. Karen, I just want to let you know, we're going to ask you to stick afterwards. Your question is related to Google Classroom, and we can definitely help you answer that. Karen from Davis Drive Elementary did have a question related to Google Drive. Oop, I'm so sorry. There's one more question about how to trim a video in the middle. For example, if they have a 1-minute video and they want to get rid of the part between 30 to 35 seconds.
Okay, I'll make sure I cover that as well. That is when I'm going over the recording in just a second. Okay, sounds good. I'm going to make sure I answer those questions, and are we good to start the next section? And I don't hear anything, so I think we are. Okay, so the next thing I want to show you is I want to show you the browser tab, because there's 3 ways to do your recording: webcam only, and then browser tab. So if I go up here to Screencastify, I'm going to choose browser tab. Realize that on browser tab, I can only record 1 tab. So if I need to show multiple tabs in my browser, I am not going to use the browser tab. It's only for 1 tab. It sticks you on that tab. Now I have some choices. I can embed the webcam if I want to at the bottom to show myself talking. I will let you know this is distracting. As an adult, this is distracting for me. But what's nice is you can turn it on really quick and you can turn it off. So I am going to leave that on so you can see it. Well, hopefully it'll work in a Google Meet. Then I'm going to do show more options. And under show more options, I have a countdown. So it'll give me 3 seconds before I start. There are annotation tools, so I can underline and do things with the drawing tools. So I'm going to have those on. And the last one is audio, tab audio. I am not going to turn that on, but I want to tell you what it's about. So let's say that you have a very short clip that you would like to play, a video that you want to play in your Screencastify. If you turn on tab audio, then that video will play. You can play that video in your screencast, but you must have that turned on. So if you have a video you want to play in your screencast, you want the kids to be able to hear it while you're screencasting, you turn that on. All right, so I'm going to click on record. I had just got my 3-second countdown, and now it's recording everything that I'm doing. So in my mini lesson, I can click on present. It's going to present full screen. Notice that the embed web camera went away. And now I can talk to my kids. So if I wanted to talk to them about the life cycle of a butterfly, I can go through each one of these slides talking. They can hear my voice. I can say what I need to say, and I can go through my slide deck. Now, I'm going to hit escape, and my annotation tools are down here to the left, and here's my embed camera. I'm going to turn the camera off. It's in my annotation tools. I'm down to the bottom left. So I'm going to turn off my camera. You don't see me anymore. Let's talk quickly through these tools. The first one is a mouse pointer, and you can do a focus mouse where you focus the kid's attention on what it is that you're talking about. Notice that my annotation tools did not show up when I was in full screen. You cannot see them there. So if you want to use any of these tools on a Google slide deck, you need to have the slide deck not full screen. I'm going to take that off, and the next thing is a mouse click, so that when I highlight my clicks, whenever I click somewhere on the screen, it's going to make it red so that the kids can focus in where I'm going. The next one is the drawing tools. This is where I can underline words that I want the kids to see. Not only that, you have a stylus, which is fabulous if you have your new laptop. So if I wanted to write or circle things, I can use my stylus to circle them. The next tool at the bottom is the eraser. I can erase a little bit at a time, or if I click here on wipe the screen clear, I can wipe it all clear at the same time. And again, this is my embed webcam. When I finish talking through, I go to the top and I can click on stop right here, or at the bottom of the screen, I can click stop sharing. I'm going to click stop. And now it has opened my Screencastify video that I just made for my kids. When you first sign up for Screencastify, you're going to be given a free version of Screencastify. A free version only allows you to trim videos, okay? So I'm going to stop just for a second before I start this part, because I want to make sure you don't have any questions about what I just did. I don't want to show you too much at one time. So Jen, do we have any questions about what I just showed in Screencastify before I talk about editing?
Yes, and we are replying as well in the chat. Thanks so much, Annette. There was a question about what setting is best if you want students only to see the video. And I believe that's what you're showing now specifically in the tab that you're in the browser tab. And I'm not sure, we had a Davis Drive Elementary teacher ask that question. If she wants to jump on and let us know if we're hitting that question correctly. There's one other question, Evelyn from Powell asked, is there a more simplified way to do this with less steps? So in other words, we are videoing a video. Evelyn, I'm so sorry. Would you mind unmuting your mic and just giving a little bit of clarifying some details in your question?
But my question is, initially you said the best way to do it is to use webcam only. Can you use webcam only to do this type of thing like with the Google Slides, or no?
No.
Because webcam is just a snippet, like you were talking about, just for a morning meeting.
Yes, ma'am. So webcam only is just for a morning meeting because it's only going to show you. But browser tab and desktop allow you to show people what you're doing on your computer. It actually makes a video of you on your computer.
Okay.
Okay.
So how is that different from when we present, other information to the kids when we're presenting in Google Meets?
So in Google Meet, here's the biggest thing about that. You are using quite a bit of data, the kids' data, because you're streaming. And that's basically what we're doing right now is we're streaming. Plus, you're asking all your kids to be there at one time. And so when you're teaching in front of them, that's synchronous. Whereas I might not be able to be there right then. My mom and dad might have planned something for me. So to use Screencastify, kids can watch this anytime they have time to watch it. So you're allowing them the ability to watch it in the morning, and then something happens in their home and they need to take care of something else. And then they don't remember and they can go back again in the afternoon and watch it again.
Got
So
it.
you're giving them an opportunity to watch it when they can watch it. Any more questions before I start with the editing? All right, so I'm going to start with the editing piece. So I think I started talking about how the free version lets you trim and rename your videos. In just a second, or at the end, I need y'all to remind me, there is a code that you can put in to get the unlimited version during this COVID outbreak. And so we'll give you that code, and maybe they'll put that in the chat for you. You can enter that code, and then you'll be able to get the unlimited version, which is going to give you the editing ability to be able to chunk out pieces of video that you don't want. So for those of you that are looking, I can change my title at the top. So I could just say butterfly if I want to. I can also at the bottom, I can play it back. And to trim it, I click here on the scissors. So if I don't want the front, I want to actually make it so that I have 10 seconds where it starts when I'm full screen. And then at the ending, I don't want to show my ending. I want it to stop differently. I can trim the beginning, trim the end, and then when I push save trim and trim, so now I'm gonna trim this video. It replaces the other video. So realize that once you trim it, it replaces that video. So in the free version, I can trim. I also want you to look over here to the side. This is the part that's the most amazing about Screencastify. So Screencastify saves your videos in two places. It saves it in the Screencastify extension, which if I click on the extension and I click on the 3 lines, I can go to my recordings, and it's going to show me every recording I've ever made. It also makes a folder inside of my Google Drive. So if I'm in my Drive, here is my Screencastify folder, and inside of that folder are all of the screencasts I've made. So I am able to get a shareable link right from inside of Screencastify. This is my final video where I was showing you where to trim. I can go to more options, and I can change this from private to unlisted at WCPSS. I can copy that link, and then I can share that link to Seesaw. I can share that link in Google Classroom. I can share it in Canvas. I can put it on a Google Doc. I can do whatever I want to with it right from it within Screencastify. But I can also go to my Google Drive folder, and I can share it from here. I can just right click and get my shareable link just like I would before get my shareable link. I can change my share settings right within Google Drive so that others can see it. So it works just like a Google Drive document. It's saved in your Google Drive. Down at the bottom, I have share. So I can share this video right to Google Classroom, which I love. So if I click on share to Google Classroom, I can pick the classroom that I want to share it to. And then I can choose the action. I can create an assignment. And when I click go, it's going to look just like my Google Classroom assignment. I create it from here, and then I can click assign. So from within Screencastify, I can share this straight to my Google Classroom for my students. I can also publish it to YouTube. And at the bottom, if I wanted to download this video, I can download it as an MP4, which is a video format, or I can even just export the audio and get audio only from this video. Now, for those of you that were asking about the chunking of the videos, I am going to wait and show that at the end, only because that is an unlimited feature. And I want to make sure that we get to the desktop tab. So just letting you know I haven't forgotten you. And I also have a video that I can send to you as well if we need to put that in the chat. So are we good to move on?
And now we do have one new question that popped up for us. Let me scroll back. It says, from Laurie at Apex, it says, is it best to use unlisted? So when you referred to some of the settings, she just wanted to know if that was the best practice to use unlisted.
Yes, unlisted means that it's not searchable. They have to have the link to be able to view it. So unlisted is the best practice. It's the same one as anyone with the link in Wake County can view. So it's exactly the same. Any other questions?
All right, we have a couple more questions that showed up. The next one is, what format should I save the video to link in Canvas?
And you know what, Sadie, you might be a better person to answer that question because you know Canvas a lot better than me.
So when you are linking in Canvas, and I haven't tried this for a while, so it could be that updates have changed, but when you're sharing the video on Canvas as an assignment or on your page, you can share it from your Google Drive just like you would share any file from your Google Drive. When you go in, you would click the special icon in Canvas to add Google Drive items. And instead of just selecting a Google Doc or a slide deck, you would just instead select the video that's in your Google Drive from Screencastify folder.
Thank you, Sadie.
Sure. And there's a couple more questions. Jen, do you have the next question? I know there were a couple more after that.
Janet, I did post a note for you. This recording of this particular Lunch and Learn will be posted on the DLC website on the same page that you used to click and join the meet. So it will be there hopefully by the end of the day. If not, then definitely by tomorrow morning, you'll be able to jump on and get a recording of this.
So the next section that I want to talk to you about is going to be the desktop version. So I'm going to go to back to my life cycle video, and this is where I want to use desktop. The wonderful thing about desktop is it lets you go between browser tabs, and it lets you record anything that you have on the desktop of your machine. So any software that's loaded. So today I'm going to show you how to go between two tabs, as well as how to record something that you have on your new laptops that you're going to love. So the desktop version, again, lets you choose your microphone input. It lets you embed the webcam. I am going to turn that off. And then if I go to show more options, I get the countdown and the drawing tools. And system audio is what you would turn on if there's a video or something that you would like to play that requires the audio to come out of your computer for your students to be able to hear it. Okay, a song, anything that you have. So you would need to turn on system audio. I'm going to push record. This time I get a pop-up box, and this is the difference between browser and desktop. With the pop-up box, I can choose my entire screen, or if I click on application window, I can choose a separate window that I want to record. For today, I'm just going to choose my entire screen. And then I'm going to click share. When I click share, that's when I get the 3-second countdown. And now I'm recording. So I could record over this again, and then I can open a new tab, and I might have some animal research that I want the students to look up. So I might use this Google Doc and talk them through the Google Doc, telling them about the expectations that I have. Or if I wanted them to do an activity, and I wanted to explain to them how to do this activity, I want them to insert a picture into this cell. So I'm going to go to insert image, and I'm going to say, hey, I want you to find a picture of a larva or an egg for a butterfly. So they would go, and I would demonstrate to them how to find this image, how to insert this image. So I'm using Screencastify to help them with some of the technical issues that they may run into, or to explain what I want them to do. And notice I can go back and forth between tabs to do this. Another thing that I'd like to show you is I have here created this document for my math lesson. And this is a Screencastify sorry, this is a Google slide deck that has my morning meeting. And right here on this number 2, I might put my Screencastify on how to do this math lesson. I can link out and go to different things that I've connected to it so that I can teach my kids. It's letting me open multiple browsers to be able to teach my kids using Screencastify. So I can go back to this browser tab, and then I can talk to my students about 3D shapes. I could play a snippet of this video, and then I could talk through what I want them to do next while I am not there for my virtual learning. So I'm going to stop here for a second. I'm going to push the stop button, and my video will pop up. And notice that as I move I can see how it's jumping from tab to tab, how I've recorded. It's recording everything that I'm doing on my screen. So I'm going to stop for a second and see if anyone has questions.
So there was a question just related to Screencastify being really slow last night, and there was a lag in processing time. I will tell you, I also had that experience today. Just to jump in, earlier today, I added something to a slideshow that will be shared with you guys that has examples and pro tips in it. And I had that same issue. I don't know if that's because so many people are jumping on, but I also had signed up for something free just to try out in Screencastify. And since then, my Screencastify has been acting a little bit wonky. It's called Screencastify Submit. I actually would not suggest signing up for it if you do get something once you go to Screencastify about it until we get a little bit more information. But I was thinking that that's possibly why that happened as well. My suggestion might be to close, if you have lots of browsers open and lots of things using bandwidth, to close those. But I also think that it is just lots of people using Screencastify right now.
Okay, so this last section, this is the last thing that I'm going to show you today, and then I'm going to open it up for more questions and make sure we get some of those things in your chat. Is I want to show you when you're recording in Screencastify with desktop, how you can minimize and you can go to your desktop to record. So what I'm going to show you today is called Sketchpad. It's great for you to use for math. So I'm going to click on desktop and I'm going to click on record. I'm going to choose my entire screen and I'm going to click share. So I'm getting my countdown. Now what I want to do is minimize my browser. And I'm going to come down here to the very bottom of my screen, and it's called Windows Ink Workspace. So if you have a brand new laptop, then you have this software on your machine. And it's called Sketchpad. So I'm going to click on Sketchpad, and it opens up to this window where I can use my stylus, and now I can teach math to my kids. I can record a lesson. So if I was doing division, I could write out my problem and work it out. I can write whatever I want to on the screen. If you look at the top of the screen, it also has tools for me to write. It has an eraser, and I can just dump this, clear all, and start over and do another problem as well. I can write whatever I want to my kids using the Sketchpad. And then when I'm finished, I can click on the X, go back to my browser, and then I can push stop on Screencastify. And it just recorded me going out of the browser, and I'm just going to make this go along a little bit. And now I'm on my desktop and I'm looking at the Sketchpad software. So realize that Screencastify is not limited to just recording things that are online, but you can also record things that are on the desktop, such as PowerPoints that you may have already have. You can talk on top of those PowerPoints. You don't have to have it in Google Slides. If it's in some other format on your machine, you can use that. You can talk through it. Questions about recording outside of the browser? Any other questions?
Yes, Annette, sorry, there was a question. How would Sketchpad be added to the screen during a live session with students?
So if you're in a live session with students, then like I'm in a live session with you guys and I'm sharing my entire screen. If I minimize it right now, I can still get to Sketchpad. I'm not recording in Screencastify. Let me try this. And I can get to Sketchpad because I'm just sharing my screen in a Google Meet. So you can still get to it in a live Google Meet.
Annette, could you just show people one more time on your desktop where to find that Sketchpad? There was a question about it, where that tool is located.
So in the bottom right corner, you're going to see Windows Ink Workspace. I've kind of got my mouse over it. It's in the bottom right. If I click on it, Sketchpad is located right there. Sketchpad.
There is a Screencastify, guys, just so you know, for Sketchpad. There in the presentation that we're sharing with you, there is a quick Screencastify on how to find it and use it.
So let me go ahead and I will go to that I want to talk through these slides because we are going to give you these slides. Here are some tips we want to give you, and then I'm going to show you the resources we have, and then we're going to continue with questions for the next 20 minutes. We'll be happy to answer your questions. Please make sure that you don't give out huge, long videos for your kids. I, as an adult, have a hard time with a 10-minute screencast. I just can't pay attention that long. Make them shorter clips. Chunk them, chunk your information. That way the students don't have to find where they left off. Have all your content ready and practice one time, just talking out loud with what you want to say and what you want to do. That just helps you to feel better as you're making your screencast. It also helps so that you don't continue to just, sometimes I will just talk and talk and talk, you know, that way it'll cut your screencast down. You can use the pause button, which is located on that annotation tool. You can pause it and get yourself together. You're like, ooh, I'm talking too much. What do I really want to say? Pause and then start your screencast again. And when you change the share settings on your Google Drive folder to anyone with the link can view. So here's another pro tip. I'm going to go to my Screencastify Google Drive folder. I'm in my Screencastify folder inside of Google Drive. You can just change the share settings on this folder, and then every video that you create will have those share settings. So if I go to the folder, I'm clicking on the drop-down box beside it, and I click share. I have it set already to anyone with the link can view. And I don't have that within Wake County because I may want to send this to a parent and they're in a Gmail account and they can't see what I'm sending them. So that's why mine says anyone with the link can view. If I click that drop down and I click more, that's when I get my link sharing. I have it set to anyone so that parents and kids can see it. But if you wanted to, you could say, oh, I only want people that are in Wake County using their Wake County ID, their Wake ID, to see that link. And then you just click save. So I'm going to do that one more time just so that you can see that. I click the drop down box right beside Screencastify. I go to share. I change that link. I go to more. And I can choose what I want. I'm going to change mine back to anyone with the link and click save. So that saved the entire folder so that everything that's added to it has the right settings.
Annette, there was a question on how to use the pause button. Would you
Sure.
mind showing that quickly?
All right, so I'm going to go back to Screencastify and I'm going to use the desktop version and click record. And before I do that, I'm going to make sure I have on my annotation tools. So make sure that you have on your drawing tools. Make sure they're turned on. I'm going to hit record, choose the desktop and share. Look in the bottom left corner, this very first button with the 2 lines, that is the pause button. So I can click pause, so I'm not recording. And then when I'm ready to record again, I can click the play or resume button and it starts the recording again. So it's located in the annotation tools to the bottom left. I'm going to push stop. Any other questions?
So just super quick, I was just typing it in chat. The default setting on the Screencastify folder that's automatically created in Google Drive, it will automatically default to anyone in Wake County. However, you still have to turn the link on to share it. So if you don't change the share settings of the folder, when it first goes into the folder, it won't be shareable with anybody until you turn on link sharing.
Notice I'm in this right now. So I just created a video, and what I'm showing to you is the video that I just made. And I went over here to where it says copy shareable link. Notice that it says private. So I would need to turn that on to be able to share it. Now it's unlisted in Wake County, so I want to copy that shareable link and give that link out. If you're grabbing it from your folder, it should have the same settings as your folder, but you should always check that, especially during this remote learning time, making sure that you have the correct share settings on whatever you share with parents or kids. Okay, so I'm going to jump back to my presentation, and I just want to go to the next page in our presentation, which you're going to get this in the chat window. We have a couple of examples here of how you can use this as a tutorial to explain a concept, to do a mini lesson with inquiry. That one says we need permission, Jen, so I might need you to check the mini lesson with inquiry. The morning message, and then here at the bottom, we do have some whiteboard apps for you. Sketchpad is the one that I demonstrated. Snip and Sketch is also on the Windows machine. Both of these are videos. They're screencasts on how to use Sketchpad, how to use Snip and Sketch. And then there's an online whiteboard called the Awe app. That is also attached here. An example is actually attached to the Awe app. And if you open it, you can just start drawing right on this and start using it. The only thing is it does have ads within it. You can't get rid of the ads. And then the last page of what we're sharing with you is more information about Screencastify. This video here, you can watch that video and it tells you how to get the free unlimited version. It's a step-by-step. We've attached that for you. We also have a PDF that you can get to. It tells you how to load the extension, how to log in, how to create a screencast. These are step-by-step instructions. Most of these are screencasts that tell you how to do that. Screencastify also has some awesome classroom resources that you can go to. It tells you how to use it and gives you tons of information, even webinars. And they have this Master the Screencast that gives you, at the end of it, it'll give you a certificate that you could turn in to get DLC credit. And then Screencastify also has a user guide. And this user guide is very friendly. A lot of screencasts worked right within it. So this is all going to be given to you on this slide deck that's going to be put into the chat window. So do we have any more questions? We do have about 10 minutes. We did have a question earlier about how to edit out the middle of a video.
Yes, that one was reposted, how to edit out the middle of a video.
All right, so I am now at the end of Screencastify. Right after I've created my video, it pops up in this window that shows me my video. When you get the unlimited version, because in the free version, you do not have access to this, you can open this video in Editor. Editor will let you chunk out a section or the middle of a video. So right now it's loading my recording. This might take a second. It was a short video. And so notice that it looks a little bit different. Down at the bottom, I can see a timeline of my video, and I've watched it all the way through, and I've decided that I want to chunk out from 5 seconds all the way to maybe 10 seconds. So what I do is I find my time. I know I want to stop at 5 seconds. I click, and then I come up here to the scissors where it says cut, and I cut my video in two. So now I'm working with 2 separate sections of video. Now I'm going to go to 10 seconds because I wanted to chunk out from 5 seconds to 10 seconds. I click at 10 seconds, and then I'm going to click the cut again, which is the scissors in the bottom left corner. Once I do that, I have 3 sections: my beginning section, the middle section that I want to take out, and my ending section. So I click on that middle section and I just push delete on my keyboard, and I have just chunked out that entire 5 seconds of video that I do not want. Any other questions?
There was a question about whether it's possible to get rid of the noise info, and I'm so sorry. I'm not quite sure what that question refers to.
Hey, this shot, what I mean is for the like browsers, the tabs or other things that I don't want the kids to lose focus. So that's what I mean.
So you want to get rid of the tabs so that they don't see all the tabs?
Yeah, like all the browsers and the other info. I want them only see the video I present.
How are you giving them the video?
Well, I use the browser tab to record my readings, and they can see all the other information like the tabs and stuff in browsers on my laptop that is opening.
What I would do, this is just the first thing that comes to mind, but Jen and Sadie, if y'all have another idea, I would take and pull that tab out. So I just kind of minimized my browser tab right now, and let's say I want to do the PDF here. I just click and hold that down and drag it out. And so I only use Screencastify on this one tab so that they're not seeing all the other tabs that I have open. So I would just screencast with this one tab.
Annette, I'm going to jump in and add really quick. I believe she could also, if she's recorded the entire desktop, and you guys will have to confirm, I don't know if it's with free and paid, but they can use the crop option to sort of crop the view that students see, even though you've screencasted your entire desktop.
Thank you. I can show that to you too. All right, so I'm in the editor to be able to do this. So this is an unlimited feature to be able to crop it out. So what I would do is I would come over here to the bottom left, and I go to crop, and it looks like a little square. I click on crop, and let's say I only want them to see this slide right here. All the slides are this section of my video. I can highlight it, and then I can push done. And now it's going to change, and it's only going to show that one window. Realize though, it does it for this entire section. Notice how right here, this first section, I can see every tab I have open. Now this second clip, I can only see the Screencastify tips. It does the entire clip. Okay, so realize whatever you choose, and you can go back and you can undo it right here with the undo if you play it and something's messed up. But you can, thank you Sadie for saying that, you can crop out just what you want. So I want this to show, that's what I put the box around, and I click done. And I've just cropped that clip. Any other questions?
There was, and I responded in chat, there was a question about whether to use the embedded camera or not, particularly if you're reading a story or doing something with your kids. And really, we know that you guys know your kids better than anybody. And it really does depend on the activity and depend on your students. I love that embedded webcam for remote learning because it does have that connection piece, but you may want to choose what you use it for, depending on whether you think that might distract your kids at the moment.
Thank you, Jen. Any other questions? We have about 2 minutes.
Annette, would you mind showing that quick feedback survey that's at the end of that slideshow? If people are so inclined, that would be helpful for us.
Thank you for your reminder. On the very last page, we have just a feedback form. If you will please, this is our first Lunch and Learn, so we really would love your feedback on how we did and what we could do to improve. If you'll please fill out this survey for us, it's really short and quick. We would appreciate that. And that's on the last page.
I have a question. Can I ask you, please?
Yes, go ahead.
Actually, I just joined because I just finished my second grade teachers meeting with teachers. So is it any way that I can see all those things again? Have
Yes.
you read? Are you going to provide the link, please?
If you go to dlc.wcpss.net and you go to the Lunch and Learn, this recording will be that at the very bottom under the recorded sessions after today. And there should be a link to the presentation, this presentation, right within the chat window.
Okay, sure. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Any other questions? I am going to stop sharing my screen. And I want to say thank you for joining us today. We stop sharing. There we go. Thank you for joining us today. I'm so glad you came in and learned a little bit. And remember to reach out to your DLCs and please provide feedback for us. We would love that. And thank you so much. And we'll hang around a little bit in case anyone has any more questions. And have a great day.